Okay, this is the circumference and area of circles worksheet. Okay, the first one, the radius we notice is 12, so r equals 12. Okay, so we can use that to find the area of a circle. Okay, so area of the circle is pi r squared. So area is going to be pi times 12 squared. 12 squared is 144, so we get 144 times pi. They want you to use the calculator and round to the nearest tenth. So this is actually the exact answer. This is the best answer. It's exact. But we're going to do what the problem tells us to do, which is to find the decimal and round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to go to calculate. Okay, we have 144 times pi. It's 452.389, which we're going to round to 0.4. Okay, number 2. Radius is 14. Area of a circle is pi r squared. So we're going to just substitute in the 14 for our radius. So that's 14 squared. 14 times 14 is 196. And then we want to multiply by pi. Okay, so we get 196 pi. We want to round to the nearest decimal, tenths place, so that's going to be 615.8. And it's going to be kilometers squared. And this one was inches squared. Okay. Number 3 and 4. Okay, number 3 and 4. So same thing, we have area equals pi r squared. The area here is going to be 9 meters. So we're going to have 9 times 9 is 81. So we have 81 pi. Put in the calculator, 81 times the value of pi is going to be 254.469. So 254.5 meters squared. Number 4, again, we want area equals pi r squared. The radius is 11, so we have area equals pi times 11 squared. 11 squared is 121, so we have 121 pi. I'll put that in the calculator. 121 times pi is going to be 380.1. So 380.1 centimeters squared. Number 5, radius is 2.6, so again, area equals pi r squared. So we just plug in 2.6. 2.6 squared times pi, so we get 6.76 times pi, which was then 6.76, 21.2. Diameter is 31. Diameter equals 34.1. So to find the radius, we have to divide by 2. So 34.1. So radius is going to be the diameter divided by 2. So 34.1 divided by 2 is going to give us 17.05. Area of a circle is pi r squared. So we're going to get area equals pi times 17.05 squared. We get 290.705. 703. So I'll just write 0.7 times pi. Which is 913.3. 913. Okay. Right, number 7. Right, diameter is 13.2. So the radius is half the diameter. It's the diameter divided by 2. So that's 13.2 divided by 2, which is going to be 6.6. Okay. Area is pi r squared. So area is going to be pi times 6.6 squared times 136.8. And then 8 we crossed off. Okay. 9. 9 and 10, we want to find the circumference. Okay, so circumference is 2 pi r. Again, that is the length around the circle. That's the length of the circle if you go around it. It's the radius times 2 pi. So here the radius is 8. Okay, so C equals 2 pi times 8, which is going to be 16 pi. Put it in the calculator. We get 50.3. Okay, and that's the more exact answer. This is our rounded answer. That's a decimal. Okay, miles. Circumference is 50.3 miles. Area is pi r. Circumference is 2 pi r. The radius is 8.3 yards. So 2 times pi times 8.3. It's going to give us 52.2. Multiply all those together and we get 52.2 yards. Number 11. Okay, circumference 2 pi r, 2 pi times 4.2. 26.4 yards. Okay, circumference is 2 pi r. 2 times pi times 6.2. So that is 12.4 times pi. Which is 39.0 miles. Okay. Radius is 5.2. So again, we're just putting in C equals 2 pi r. So the radius is 5.2. So that's going to be 10.4 times pi, which is 32.7. The radius is half the diameter, so the diameter is 11.1. The radius equals the diameter divided by 2. So we're going to divide 11.1 by 2. And we're going to get 5.55. circumference is 2 pi r. So circumference is 2 times pi times the radius, which is 5.55. So that's going to be 11.1 times pi, which is 34.9. 34.9. Last one, diameter against 9.5. So we know since the diameter equals 2 times r, we can write this as pi diameter times pi times the diameter. Okay, but I don't want to confuse you, so let's just call it 2 pi r. So the radius is the diameter divided by 2, so that's 9.5 divided by 2, which is 4.75. Okay, so our circumference is 2 pi times 4.75, which is going to give us times 2 is 9.5. 9.5 times pi is going to be 29.8. All right, and again, we crossed off what was number 16. All right, so hopefully that's all good. Now we can move on to some of the better problems, starting with 17. Okay. So they're giving us the circumference and they want us to find the radius. So basically we're just going the other way. So circumference equals 2 pi r. It's telling us the circumference is 62.8. So we're going to do 62.8 equals 2 pi r. Our goal is to solve for r, so we need to divide both sides by 2 pi. So 62.8 divided by 2 pi is going to equal r. So 62.8 divided by, make sure you put 2 pi in parentheses. We get 9.99, which is going to be 10.0 equals. Okay. Same thing here. Circumference equals 2 pi r. That's 69.1 equals 2 pi times the radius. So we divide both sides by 2 pi. Okay, so 69.1 divided by, in parentheses, 2 times pi. 10.99, so that's going to be 11.0 is our radius. Okay, here, again, same thing. We're going to plug in, so C equals 2 pi r. So we get 12.6 equals 2 pi times r. So we divide by 2 pi, and 2 pi. We get r equals, these cancel, we get 12.6 divided by, in parentheses, 2 pi, 2.00. Okay, and again here, same thing, circumference is 2 pi r. So we substitute in our circumference, we get 25.1 equals 2 pi r. To get r by itself, we need to divide by 2 pi. So 25.1 divided by, in parentheses, 2 pi, we get 4.0. Okay. 21, find the diameter. Okay, so we have to find the diameter here. Okay, we know the diameter is 2 times the radius. Okay, so if we can find the radius, we can find the diameter. Right, so area equals pi r squared. So the area is 201.1, and that's going to equal pi r squared. So we want to divide by pi. Okay, 201.1 divided by pi. It's going to be 64.0. is going to equal r squared. Okay, to find r, we got to take the square root of both sides. So we get r equals 8, plus or minus 8, but radius is a positive number. So then to find diameter, we simply put it in this equation. Diameter equals 2 times the radius of 8, which is 16. So it's going to be 16 inches. Same thing over here. Area is pi r. So to find diameter, we need to do 2 times the radius. So we need to find the radius. So we need to use the area to find the radius. Area is 78.5. So we get 78.5 equals pi r squared. We divide both sides by pi. So 78.5 divided by pi is going to give us 25.0 equals r squared. So we take the square root of both sides. We get r equals 5. So our diameter is going to be 10. 2 times 5 is 10 feet. Okay. 23, we want to find the circumference. Okay. So circumference is 2 pi r. Area. So in order to find the circumference, we need to find the radius, just like we did in 21 and 22. Okay, so we have to use the area to find the radius. So area equals pi r squared. The area is 64, so 64 is going to equal pi r squared. If we divide both sides by pi, the area is 64 pi. Okay, so if we divide both sides by pi, the pi's are going to cancel out. We get 64 equals r squared. If we take the square root of both sides, we get 8 equals r. We can then substitute that into our circumference equation. We get 2 pi times 8, which is 16 pi, which is going to be 50.3 less. So we want to use the area equation to find the radius. Then we plug the radius in to find the circumference. Okay, 24. Area equals 16 pi. We want to find the circumference. So circumference again is 2 pi r. So we need the radius. So to find the radius, we're going to use the area equation. Okay, so area is 16 pi. Substitute that in for area. Okay, and that's going to equal pi r squared. We now have one variable, r, so we can solve for r. Got to get r squared by itself, so we divide by pi. We get 16 equals r squared. We can take the square root of both sides. So we get 4 equals r. Again, plus or minus, but you can't have a negative radius, so we're going to use positive 4. Then our circumference is 2 pi times 4, because we're substituting in the radius that we just found. So we get c equals 8 pi. So our circumference is whatever 8 times pi is, 25.1. Number 25, we want to find the area. So to find the area, our area equation is pi r squared. So to find the area, we need the radius. So we have to do what we did before to find the radius. This time we're going to use circumference. So circumference equals 2 pi r. We're going to plug in for our circumference 6 pi equals 2 pi r. Okay. To get r by itself, we need to divide by 2 pi. Okay, the pi's and the 2's cancel out. The pi's cancel out. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we get 3 equals r, and we want to substitute that back in. So area equals pi times 3 squared, which is 9 pi, which is 9 times pi is what, about 29? 28.3. A little high. Okay. Number 26. Again, we want to find area. Area is pi r squared. To find area, we got to find the radius, so we need to use the circumference. Okay, the circumference is 22 pi, so 22 pi equals 2 pi r. So we're going to divide both sides by 2 pi. Okay, 22 divided by 2 is 11. So 11 equals r. Okay, so we need to substitute that in for r. So area is pi times 11 squared, which is going to be 121 squared. 121 times pi. Okay, and 121 times pi is going to be 380.1. And that is inches squared. This one was yards squared. Okay. Let's clear the board for number 27. Okay. So find the radius of a circle so that it is area and circumference. Find the radius of a circle so that its area and circumference have the same value. Okay. So area is pi r squared. Okay, and circumference is 2 pi r. Okay, it's telling us to find the radius of a circle so that its area and circumference have the same value. So if the area and the circumference have the same value, then A is going to equal C. Right? So area and circumference have the same value. A is going to equal C. We know A is pi r squared. And we know C is 2 pi r. Okay. So from here, we want to find the radius. So we can divide both sides by pi. So we get r squared equals 2r. Then we can divide both sides by r. So this is going to cancel out with one of these. So we get r equals 2. Right, r squared divided by r is just r. These are cancel, so we get 2. So the radius of a circle is going to be 2. And we can test it out. So area equals pi 2 squared. That's going to be area equals 4 pi. Okay, circumference equals 2 pi times radius of 2. Circumference equals 2 pi. A equals C. So our answer is